back to another episode of the Blue Honor Vlog. I'm Kay Williams, author of Opdeck Operation Deceit, the Trailokia Trilogy series, and Blue Honor, which gives this vlog its name. Some people have asked me about that, and it has nothing to do with police. I don't know why they're adopting the Blue Honor thing. Blue Honor is something that I came up with back in 90s because the federal uniforms of the soldiers were a deep navy blue. So it has to do with that. It has to do with Emily's eyes being blue, women's honor, the 1860s with honor and all of that stuff. So it has to do with a concept that predates any of that Blue Lives Matters crapola. So if you don't agree with that, neither do I. Anyway, if you do agree with that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you do and that you don't understand the whole concept of Black Lives Matter. I wish that you would. I really wish that you would. I wish that you would realize the history behind that and everything that has gone on since the transatlantic slave trade to today, and how systemic racism is still affecting people of color. And, you know, there's a lot of people that you can watch and learn from, and I encourage you to resist responding until you have learned. And that's why critical race theory is so important to teach in schools today. That should be put into place, not taken out by any means. So today, I'd like to talk about my extremely diverse trilogy series and this little nugget that came out in August. So the trilogy is now complete, and The Lucent Rise, and you see she here at the door, the blue door, which is the third door, the final chapter in Miles' story. So I've been doing a lot of videos on TikTok explaining some of the concepts, ideas, phenomenon, etc. around these. Things that I experienced, things that encouraged me to write this, experiences that I had that brought me to writing this, and their experiences since childhood. So it's pretty crazy. This begins with Holly. You met Holly in the second, and her story continues in the third book, and things come back around with Mile, etc. So if you have read Burning Down, if you've read Shadow Soul, which is book 1, Burning Down is book 2, Lucent is 3, you'll know who Holly is, what she means to Miles' story, etc. So, and how things eventually conclude. So the poetry, show you right there, the poetry that is in the beginning of the book, that is from a dream that I had. That's from a dream that I had where I had a little girl. And at the time, I believed that I would never have a child. Things were not working out with me, with partners, etc. All I wanted to do was settle down, have a family, but things weren't kind of going that way, and I wasn't going to settle in with somebody that wasn't respecting me, that I didn't feel I was secure with having a family. You don't do that to children, you know. So I was kind of making those choices, like I need the right one. I need somebody who's dad material, who's husband material, who's best friend material, and this just isn't it. And from all things, I had been experiencing the dreams I had had. It was always a little boy that I had first, but this dream came in and I was having a little girl. And it was kind of upsetting because I'm like, what has changed? What has slipped, you know? And it's it's interesting in light of everything that has happened to me. And I eventually decided to go ahead and have a baby on my own, to find a donor, which I did, and having a little girl. Yeah. If you watch the TikTok videos, I do a lot of creepypastas about dreams that I've had and all of that, and how they connect with this series. Just experiences, etc. in my life that have fed into this series. And when I say creepypasta, I mean it. There's a lot of very bizarre, strange things, and you just kind of go, oh, that's an interesting coincidence. Because, you know, it's like, I'm atheist, and I'm an agnostic, leaning atheist, and I'm just like, but I don't believe that stuff, and yet, you know, and it's like, so I'm kind of now leaning pagan, or at least following pagan traditions, not necessarily like in a spiritual sense, but not necessarily believing in deities, because there's still that faction in the group, like I see in Christianity and everywhere else, that, oh, well, the gods favor me over you. You know, I spend all day with Loki, and I give him cookies, and it's just kind of a little too much for me. It's too much of a reach for me. I don't believe it. I believe those are sadly desperate people who just want to be on top and are competing with other people. I don't think it's healthy. I think it's narcissistic. I think that they're playing out fantasies because of the Loki movies. A whole bunch of things. So you see my atheist side getting in there going, careful. But anyway, these books, you know, it's like you read them and you're like, I thought you were an atheist. And it's like, theology is one thing. Religiosity is completely other. I am not a religionist. Definitely love theology. I love mythologies. I love studying that stuff. They're very interesting stories to me. And just the idea of what if there is something more to that? What if there are planes of existence beyond our current knowing? And it's fantastic and fun and interesting. I mean, life can get so boring, so it's kind of fun to think about that. But I do call it dark fantasy. So, yeah, I've had the dreams. Yeah, I've had the experiences. Yeah, I've gone, But there's still always a very grounded explanation for all of that. You know, it's just a fantasy dream. It's just, there's got to be some other explanation, coincidences, whatever, behind that. So there's always something that casts those doubts. Throughout the year, so Happy New Year, by the way. I hope this year finds you well, healthy, and doing great, and I hope that it sees us all moving towards a better, more amazing future. But throughout the year, I've been starting my plan for the vlog and writing that all down. But you'll see more videos from me on TikTok, and that's at Captain Mael on TikTok. And I'm going to be going over a lot more of the stuff that is in here. You have the maps, you have the poetry that's at the beginning, you have the quotes that head it off from Nikola Tesla and others. And I will be talking about those in future episodes or on TikTok. So make sure that you subscribe here, hit that button below so that you don't miss anything. I usually take these a little bit in advance, and there's at least one per month, and I'm going to try to keep up with that schedule. If there becomes a demand for more and there's more questions from the viewers, you leave me questions in the comments section, and your questions could actually become an episode. So bring me those questions about my work, etc. So like next month we'll be talking about finding things that recharge you, and March I'll be talking about the Culinary K avenue of things. How do you come up with the recipes that you have? Because I do have some stuff that isn't from a recipe book that I just make, and you may be wondering how I've come up with that. And then we have the rest of the year with a lot of great other topics that I've brainstormed in the end of 2021 and stuff in planning for this year. So happy 2022. I'm really hoping that this is a much better year for all of us, and that we can put the panini in the trash and send it away. Because we all deserve that. We need to get back out. I don't know what else I'm looking forward to this year because it is so soon in this year. I'm kind of hoping, to finally get a vacation. I'm hoping things get even more positive. I mean, finally getting this out has been great, and I've been working to place this with management as far as creating a television series. So the more you read this and the more popular this becomes, the more likely that becomes a reality. So if you've read any of the books in the series and you love them, you can actually contact any of those film people, or just put it out there, say we need a series on this. This is phenomenal. It's got a lot of material and depth to it, and I think that it would make a really interesting series. It would be a lot of fun, and I don't necessarily have to be a writer on it, I do have a screenwriting degree, hint, hint, and I have done the pilot. Me and my brother are working on writing the pilot, and that should be completed very soon. And hopefully we will be able to find somebody who wants to give it a home. So that's the focus for this year, and I've been working a little bit with that through 2021, and of course doing the film festival circuit with my other screenwriting ideas. Probably next year, not this year, will be OPGO. I love to hold on to them for a while and keep going through them and making sure that they look good and that I've gotten everything the way that I want it. And sometimes when you let it rest, you're able to come back to the writing with fresh eyes and really pop it off, and that's important. Everybody loves Karsten, and I think that they would be mad at me if I didn't give him the time and attention and love and care that he deserves, because they want to return to him and have it be just as exciting as that first book, and I want to deliver that to the readers. That is my most popular manuscript, and honestly, folks, if you loved this series, you will love it even more, because it's more clandestine stuff like that, secrets and intrigue and just stuff like that. It's epic, and far-reaching like that. Very thriller, gets dark at some points, and no handcuffs, no holds barred, sort of stuff. So if you like horror, you would like this. It's got some science fiction to it, mostly just dark fantasy using mythologies from throughout the world, and trying to weave them all back together, like the Tower of Babel shattered our languages apart. That may have shattered apart our belief systems as well, because it created us into different peoples, tribes anyway, of humanity, and we all became different nations, etc. And those cultures evolved separately and on their own and isolated from one another, and then we would just come and clash and then mix, and new things would crop up, etc. But the home world is the source world, and that kind of defines that sort of thing. Like, where is it all coming from? Where's humanity coming up with this stuff? And it's our memories from home. And Earth is not necessarily our home. So make sure that you read the series. I put a lot of hard work into this, and I would love to hear back from you. So again, subscribe, leave me your comments and questions, and maybe I'll make an episode out of them. Until next time.